time are urged to appeal their grievances before the barangay if they received a lesser amount than they should. Now, to tell us more details about this, we have JC Cosico reporting to us live from Valenzuela. JC, why is there a directive for grievances related to the rollout of Ayuda?
Just some beneficiaries of the ECQ Ayuda here in Barangay Balanday, Valenzuela City raised concerns on the amount they received from the national government. One of them is Alvin Pajardo, who received 2,000 pesos in financial aid. But he says he has 3 dependents who expected to receive the 4,000 maximum aid per household. Pajardo says he needs the money as his job as a driver was severely affected by the reimposition of ECQ. The same goes for Manuel Esuma, who lives in a household with 5 family members but only received 2,000 pesos in cash aid. Social workers say the amount will depend on the number of dependents declared in the beneficiaries' SAC form. Still, beneficiaries may appeal their concerns before the grievance committee of the barangay or to the city's social welfare department. Appeals will be addressed within 48 hours and additional payouts, if available, will be scheduled. Valenzuela City received over 500 million pesos for the ECQ Ayuda and now for over 150,000 families. Just the payout here at the Malanday National High School is still ongoing, in which over 1,000 beneficiaries are expected to receive their cash aid. Back to you.
All right, thank you for those updates. Again, that was JC Cosico reporting live from Malanday in Valenzuela. A health advocacy group calls on the government to provide more attractive offers for medical workers as the pandemic ravages the country's health system. In an interview with One News's The Chiefs, Dr. Jean Esperos of Second Opinion PH says the country continues to experience a shortage of nurses due to low compensation. Esperos explains this forces healthcare workers to look for better opportunities abroad to provide for their families. The group pointed out that some countries in need of health professionals have already been providing additional features or benefits to attract workers from other nations. Ms. Pero says the government can convince nurses and other medical professionals to stay in the country, at least during the pandemic, by giving them 3 to 6 month contracts with higher salaries.
It's always been that. It was never a real choice for nurses or other health professionals to stay here. And the pandemic has actually shown how very little the government is doing in that regard. Can you imagine? Why can't government recruit now in the middle of the pandemic? Kasi yung ino-offer nila, hindi naman ganun kataas.
PNP spokesperson Ildebrandi Usana assured the public that law enforcement agents may face administrative cases for exceeding their authority in imposing quarantine measures. In an interview with Radio 5, Usana said there appears to be some confusion over the scope of the police's authority because each police unit receives unique directives from their LGUs. But in the case of the 2 cops implicated in the death of a quarantine violator in General Trias, Usana said it's clear that the police officers crossed the line in imposing strenuous physical activities as punishment. The PNP spokesman reiterated that the police cannot mete out such penalties at will.
Ngayon nag-i-ECQ po tayo. Ang requirement po ni Chief PNP, either warning lang po or pagbumulta base ho sa tinatadhana ng mga kani-kaniyang local government units. Wala pong pag-aaresto na isasagawa at wala nang iba pang mga interventions na dapat gawin ng mga kapulisan. Maybe at most yung seminar lang and then pauwi na po yung mga violators.
This from the Philippine Star. Transport groups are calling for the temporary suspension of the government's anti-colorum campaign. A commuter advocacy group pointed out that the crackdown against colorum vehicles, which include private carpool shuttles, leave workers with very limited options for transportation. Another group noted that the pandemic in itself has already crippled the capacity of the transport system, and it's only right for the government to allow alternatives like carpools from the private sector. The LTO has earlier explained that health and capacity protocols are often violated in colorum operations, which put passengers at risk of COVID-19 transmission. But transport groups say there would be no demand for such operations if public transport is safe, stable, and sufficient. Suffice it to say that all of us have tried something new to keep the boredom at bay amid strict stay-at-home orders. Some of us tried making dalgona coffee, while others became instant celebrities on TikTok. While Guinness World Record holder Ayana Williams cut her fingernails for the first time since the 90s. Famously known as the woman with the world's longest fingernails, Williams officially said goodbye to her grand manicure over the weekend. A dermatologist in Texas even had to use an electric rotary tool to cut the record holder's world-famous nails. Williams grew her nails out for 28 straight years, so it was a rather emotional farewell. But she told the Guinness World Records that she's excited to start the rest of her life, this time with shorter nails and fewer restrictions on what her hands can do. After getting a bad reputation over the years, retail and institutional investors have now started to trust cryptocurrencies more. Bloomberg's Eddie Vander Walt explains how crypto has come of age.
Have cryptocurrencies finally grown up? Cryptocurrencies have got a bad rep over the years, from high volatility that's seen prices drop by 80% or more, through claims that they've been used for money laundering and drug deals, to investors losing access to their funds because exchanges got hacked or became accessible. Why is it that they haven't disappeared from the investment universe? And have they finally outgrown their uncertain beginnings to warrant a place in the mainstream portfolio? What was the biggest problem for cryptocurrencies? Back in 2016, when Bitcoin and other digital assets burst into popular consciousness as they broke to record highs, investing in them took a fair bit of determination, some big leaps of faith, or even technical savvy. Either the buyer had to send money to a largely unregulated exchange, often with an offshore bank account in a tax haven, or they had to set up wallets on their own computers and take responsibility for safeguarding their own holdings. In both cases, this led to big losses, such as when the 30-year-old founder of Quadringa died, taking his exchange wallet password to his grave and losing his investors $135 million. So what's changed? Today, we're looking at a whole new landscape. Custody has largely been sorted. Retail investors in the US can buy Bitcoin directly via their PayPal accounts. That means they never have to store the assets on their local computer, and they can leave the money with a name they know. Similar moves have happened elsewhere, with Revolut in the UK offering similar services, and MasterCard indicating it's willing to get into the game. But what about institutional investors? Institutional investors like pension funds, hedge funds, and broad money managers have different needs than retail customers. They want a futures and options market where they can lay off risk. And they want deep liquidity so that they can trade in size. And they want a clearinghouse to stand as a trusted counterparty. And these things have started to emerge. CME Group, which operates one of the largest derivative exchanges, trading everything from gold to FX to interest rate products, have one of the more established Bitcoin product portfolios. Others are working on ETFs. And together, that's removed some of the Wild West from the cryptocurrencies. So does that mean the end for the old cryptocurrency exchanges? Probably not. Binance, Coinbase, and Kraken have gone from strength to strength, adding more staff throughout the pandemic. They're trading billions of dollars in volume on a daily basis and look set to remain the home of the hardcore crypto enthusiasts. They also still the main point of price discovery, as a flash crash on Kraken proved recently. So everyone should put Bitcoin in their pension funds? Not so fast. Even if the custody has been sorted, this asset class remains extremely volatile. Yes, it's capable of explosive upside, but history shows it's also capable of catastrophic collapses. And that alone makes it unsuitable for most investors beyond some fractional allocation. But at least now, if investors do decide to take a position, they can do so without the fear of getting scammed. I'm Eddie Vander Walt. For more on the world of cryptocurrencies, follow us on QuickTake and Bloomberg.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 12 noon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Jess De Los Santos. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.